Welcome, everyone, to What to Watch Live, the show where we discuss the best in TV and entertainment this week. My name is David, and today I am joined by my fellow Xfinity editors, Liz and Quam.
We made it, y'all.
We're bringing it today.
We're doing it. We're getting through.
We're doing it. Hello. Thank you for being here, and thank you to everyone across Xfinity platforms, everyone watching us on the 24/7 What to Watch channel on Zumo. We are so thankful you are with us, and we have a great show for you today, and we're going to tell you about it right now. On today's show, we will help you find your favorite scary cinema with Xfinity's Halloween Moviethon. We'll explore the terrifying real inspirations behind some of your most favorite popular songs. We'll explore the rise and fall of everyone's favorite and least favorite purple dinosaur. And as always, we'll help you organize your TV watch list for the week ahead. So let's kick things off before there's any technical difficulties and continue our celebration of spooky season in a segment called Featured Collection. We are just 21 days away from Halloween, which means you only have 21 days to watch all of your favorite stories about witches, vampires, werewolves, zombies, ghouls, ghosts, and immortal serial killers. But Xfinity's Halloween Moviethon makes it easy to find all your favorite horror flicks in one place. Just say Halloween Moviethon into your voice remote to access an expansive collection of scary cinema, starting with the biggest and best new releases at the very top, as well as a collection of horror films included free to you as part of your services. And as you continue to scroll down, you'll find spooky movies available across streaming services like Netflix, Hulu, and Peacock, as well as movies currently airing somewhere across the TV airwaves. You can also browse horror movies by decade from the 1920s to now, horror by genre and horror by monster, as well as 27 different horror movie franchises. I didn't realize how hard it would be to say horror so many times. And this destination also includes 11 additional collections curated by our editors to help you find exactly what you're looking for this Halloween season. And I know one of the movies that we're all looking forward to most is the latest installment of the Michael Myers series, Halloween Ends, which premieres in theaters and on Peacock this Friday, October 14th. Liz, do you have any thoughts on this one?
I'm just wondering if it really is going to be the end, right? Like, do we think that
That is the $1 million question.
Right?
That is the $1 million question.
That's it. That's all I want to know. I mean, I'm looking forward to seeing it, of course. And if it's the end, it'll be sad for the franchise. But yeah, excited.
I think about this a lot because obviously, I think about this about the Marvel movies. Like, will there never be a reboot of Iron Man? In the history of the universe, in the world, 200 years from now, someone is going to remake Iron Man. There will definitely be another Halloween movie at some point.
Yeah, just not with Jamie Lee Curtis, I'm going to guess, right?
Probably
It's
not.
100 years from now. I mean, this is a 45-year, revenge for her. Like, come on, let's give it to the woman already.
Yeah, I mean, really, shouldn't she just get over it already?
I mean, that's a serious beef. That's serious beef right there.
This is true. It's a good thing she doesn't hold a grudge or anything. Like, she's just letting it all go, work through it.
Seriously.
Yeah. Little therapy may have been better.
Quam, are you excited about this Halloween movie, or are you psyched about watching anything else to prepare for Halloween?
I actually am, David. Thank you for asking. It's almost like you read my brain. No, there is a very underappreciated horror movie out there that I think everyone needs to see. I don't know where you can find it, but I'm sure you can find it somewhere just by saying Oculus into your Xfinity voice remote. And that's the name of the movie, Oculus. I don't know if you guys have seen it, but it's such a good movie. It's so underrated. It has a good story, good plot, good pacing, good scares. And it's pretty original. I mean, it's about a haunted mirror that haunts this family in the past, but also in the present. But the two timelines kind of are told simultaneously until they converge into one. It's amazing. It's an amazing movie. If you haven't seen it, definitely go see it. It's so underrated, so underappreciated. And I just needed to shout it out because it needs some love. So definitely go see Oculus. I'm interested. Have y'all seen it or heard of it? I'm assuming not.
No, and I feel like maybe I should. It was so good. Like you're talking about how great it was. I haven't heard of it. Maybe it needs a reboot. And then
No need for a reboot on this one. This one, the original is good enough. All you need is one.
I haven't seen it.
It's honestly not that old, dude. I mean, it's going on a decade, I think now, which I guess is kind of old, but it came out like in 2013, which to me is still like 3 years ago. But it's such a good movie, and it's most people haven't seen it. Most people haven't heard about it, and I'm actually surprised. It got a whole theatrical release and everything, and I really enjoy it. I think I choose out good horror movies, and so I would need y'all to go see it and tell me if it's actually good or not, because then that will give me like a nice grade on my actual grading skills of horror.
I think I talked about this last year for Halloween, and you're like talking about underrated movies. I don't know if this is underrated. It's just in terms of the Halloween franchise, I'm properly obsessed with Halloween 3 Season of the Witch. I know we talked about it last Halloween. It's the only one that doesn't feature Michael Myers. It like totally like steps away from the plot. It's like this like dude like this police chief goes to like this town where there's a factory that's making Halloween masks that are like turning like kids crazy and killing them while they're wearing the masks and watching this Halloween commercial. And like it's some evil corporation's attempt to like take over the world with Halloween masks. It's very odd in this like creepy old, he's not, I don't even know if he's a detective. Maybe he is. He's got this amazing mustache, and he goes and he meets up with like this victim's daughter, and she's like 30 years younger than he is. It's probably like slightly problematic in that sense. But it's so dumb and so kitschy, and I love it. So Halloween Season of the Witch, it's Halloween's 3. It's one of my favorite movies. I watch it every single year. And it's got this little jingle. Silver Shamrock is the name of the company that makes the Halloween masks. And it does a little countdown. It goes, 8 more days till Halloween, Halloween, Halloween. 8 more days till Halloween, Silver Shamrock. And then it convinces,
David,
and it's trying to get the kids to buy the masks, but the masks are going to kill them.
David,
yes.
Brad, Mr. 007 himself is saying that is actually the worst Halloween movie in the Halloween ranking. So I don't know about that. According to Mr. 007,
it's so bad it's good. It's so bad it's good. Brad, our producer, saying it's the worst. It's not, but it's not worse than like Jason Goes to Space or that's Friday the 13th. There's definitely a worse Michael Myers Halloween movie out there. Whatever. Go and watch it. Season of the Witch. I promise you. Watch all of them. So you can check out all of those. Maybe Oculus is probably in there somewhere too. And you can check them all out by with the Halloween Moviethon by saying Halloween Moviethon into your voice remote, or browse all of our Halloween curations from TV, music, kids and family, Black experience, LGBTQ+, Latino, and more by saying Halloween. Next up, Quam is here to help you add some terrifying tunes to your Halloween hullabaloo in a segment called Editor Spotlight. It's almost Halloween, and if you're in the process of planning a thriller night, a monster mash, or a season of the witch, our very own music editor Quam has the perfect collection of spooky songs to populate your party playlist. Quam, tell us more about it.
Thank you so much, David. Yes, the Spooky Season soundtrack is the one-stop shop for all of your horror needs. Our annual Halloween music curation will turn any home into the perfect haunted house. Are you looking for music that fits your horror subgenre of choice? Well, we have music for the supernatural, the undead, fans of the slasher, and so much more. And on the other hand, are you looking to choose your level of spookiness? Well, we have everything from mildly uncomfortable, featuring Tierra Whack's very uncomfortable smile, to Do Not Enter, which if you enter there, you're going there on your own on your own whim. Okay, be careful. Those music videos are scary. I would not recommend you going in there unless you have the heart for it. But I must say that my favorite aspect of this year's collection was actually inspired by our friend Audrey, and that is songs that are inspired by true crimes. And I didn't realize how many songs were actually inspired by crimes and just bad things that happen. And it took me down a rabbit hole, and I realized that some of my favorite songs were actually inspired by true crimes. And not necessarily, it's the song that I'm choosing to show y'all right now. It's not necessarily inspired by a specific crime, but it's inspired by a situation that happens way too often. And it's actually very sad. And the song itself is very pop and very happy. But once you start reading into the lyrics, it's actually telling a really grim tale. So let's play that song right now. Yes, that is Foster the People, Pumped Up Kicks. This song was such a hit, and it's not really hard to see why. I mean, the tune is very catchy. The beat is so uplifting, and it's just like oozes like pure fun. But the song is actually about the school shooter, and it's actually like one of the most like the most serious song you can possibly sing. And the fact that it was like, controlling the radio waves when radio was still like very popular is just remarkable. It just kind of shows that people do not listen to lyrics at all, because the song kind of spells it out for you, even in the chorus where they're saying like, just run from my gun, and it's so eerie when you like realize what the song's actually about, and then you start tying it into like real life events. It's like, oh, this makes you feel really just like uneasy, which I think actually, now that I'm thinking about it, really works to the song's benefit, because it's one of those things that no one wants to talk about, but we kind of gloss over, but it's still very uneasy to talk about. So yeah, Pumped Up Kicks by the Foster the People. Very uneasy song to listen to. It's spooky in a way that you're not expecting. Liz, did you have something to say?
No pressure, Liz. But yeah, like I'm one of them, right? Like I don't think that I paid attention to those lyrics when that song came out. And I remember, bopping to it too. And now, after listening to the lyrics, I can't believe that, I didn't hear it before that. Like, just the references around all of that. Like how did I miss it? Like I feel really come at, but I feel like I deserve that because I didn't listen to those lyrics before.
I just always assumed it was, a metaphor for something else. Like I heard the lyrics obviously, and because I used to sing them, but just assumed it was something represented something else. I didn't think it was literal.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's kind of like terrifying that we were bopping around to this massive hit that was talking about something so awful.
Yeah, for sure.
Definitely. I mean, and that kind of just like encompasses like, like songs that are inspired by true crimes, because like the song will be so just like catchy and so just like so much of an earworm that you don't even realize that it's being inspired or is telling the tale of something that's like very grim. Honestly, I kind of forget who is supposed to go next, but I'm just gonna say David.
Liz.
David. Oh,
Liz. It's Liz.
Yeah.
Liz.
I'll take it. Thanks. Actually, I have a very similar type song where it was not necessarily a bop. It sounded like something that it wasn't. So we'll talk about it after we hear it. Play the tape.
Every breath you take and every move you make, every bond you break, every step you take, I'll be watching you every single day, and every word you say, every game you play, every night you stay, I'll be watching you.
did we miss that this is not, in fact, a love song? Not sure how we missed it. I mean, people even played this at their wedding. And when doing research, people were coming up to Sting and to the band Police, and they're like, we love this album. And they're like, wow. They're like, it was the most played song at our wedding, and they couldn't believe it. So this song back in 1983, Sting had just separated from his wife, who happens to be the best friend of the new girlfriend. And to add insult onto injury, they lived on the same block. They were neighbors, right? So it was creepy. And he admitted to it being creepy, right? But he was like, this is not a love song. This is about an obsessive stalker. And when you look at the video, you think to yourself, how did I miss it? They're in an abandoned building, tons of cigarettes. That means they've been there for a long time. They've got the guy cleaning the window. I mean, there's nobody in this place, and he does not look happy. He doesn't look regretful, like he misses somebody. I mean, if you go watch the video again. But if you watch it, I mean, he is like the camera, like into it, like, I'm watching you. Every breath you take, you're not getting away. So it was very creepy. What are your thoughts?
I mean, me personally, that last shot where he just like looks at the camera, I think that says it all. I mean, anyone who looks at me like that, I'm like, oh, he clearly they're not showing signs of affection. Clearly they're showing signs of mental instability. So I don't know how y'all missed it. I mean, I'm a little too young for that song. I mean, I know this song, but in hindsight, I don't know how that.
Well, you know this song.
I do know this song
Because back in 1997, Puff Daddy took it and he took a riff from it and used it for "I'll Be Missing You," and even the band was surprised that, like, this is what, like, it's doing well again. And it's just interesting how everybody, you don't think you know the song until you hear it and you're like, oh yeah, I do know it.
I've never seen the video for this song. This is the first time I've ever seen that video. I'm not necessarily a Sting fan. But once you watch it, that stare right at the end, creepy Sting staring right at us, like that tells a whole different story. And I've definitely heard this played at weddings before, especially like old like family weddings back in the 90s is one of those really romantic, like anything that like Sting sang, or what was that All for One and All for Love song that was like one of the Three Musketeers songs. It had like Rod Stewart and I think Sting and Bryan Adams. A lot of Bryan Adams wedding songs. I wonder how many people I'd love to fund with some money, some research into how many people who got married to that song are now divorced. I'm gonna crowdsource some money to see if we can work that out.
Yeah, crazy.
Good use of funds, David.
David, what about you? You got a title for us? A song for us?
I do, and this is actually the one that kind of kicked all this off behind the scenes. When Kwam, Audrey, and I were doing some research to talk about our favorite songs and our favorite guilty pleasure songs. And the one that just blew our minds was a 1998 song called "The Way" by Fastball. If you don't remember it, here's a clip. So "The Way" reached #1 on multiple Billboard charts in the summer of 1998, including the rock chart, or the modern rock chart, where it was #1 for 7 weeks. And it was one of those songs you played with the car windows down and the summer breeze blowing through your hair. You were doing one of these in the wind, out the window. But did you know the absolutely haunting story behind this song's lyrics. On June 29th, 1997, 88-year-old Raymond Howard and his 83-year-old wife, Leela, left their home in Salado, Texas, to attend a music festival less than 20 miles from their home. Raymond had recently suffered a stroke, and Leela was showing early signs of Alzheimer's, but the couple attended the festival every year, so their family thought, no big deal. 3 days later, the couple was stopped by a sheriff's deputy for driving with their headlights off 500 miles away in Arkansas. When the Howards family alerted police to their disappearance back in Texas, officers searched their home to find that they had left their hearing aids behind, they left their cat behind with no food or water, and had unplugged all of their appliances in the home. They even had their calendar up and it was turned to February, even though it was June. They had also apparently left folded clothes behind on their bed, presumably for the trip, but they didn't pack it. And then on July 12th, less than 2 weeks after they were last seen, the Howards' Oldsmobile was found at the bottom of a 25-foot cliff in Arkansas with the couple dead with it. Police estimate that the car was traveling at 50 miles per hour when it drove off the cliff. There were no skid marks found to suggest they even attempted to stop. Shortly afterwards, fastball singer and songwriter Tony Scalzo, who is from Texas, was inspired to write The Way after seeing a headline that read, quote, elderly Salado couple missing on trip to nowhere. And now when you go back to listen to the song and listen to those lyrics, where were they going without even knowing the way? It's a whole different and frankly, really, really depressing experience, and kind of wild to believe that like we were all bopping to this in the summer of 1998 thinking it was just a fun road trip song. Really, really brutal. And as I was writing it, I was like, this is going to be a really depressing segment.
You know what? And you guys will come at me for this, and I guess that's all right. We all are entitled to our opinions. I think it's a little bit romantic, if I'm being honest with you. This couple was like, all right, what's happening to us? I don't know, right? I don't think it was, obviously, it wasn't an accident the way that people, think that it may have been an accident. Could have been planned, but they were probably at just a point in their lives where they're like, hey, what do we have to lose at this point? Let's just go and have the trip of our lives. We'll buy whatever we need when we get there. I don't want to hear anything or anybody. It doesn't matter. We don't need these hearing aids. Let's just go. I find it a little liberating. Yes, a little romantic too, but maybe because I've been married for so long too. I get it. I feel it.
Yeah. There's definitely like a lot of rumors and speculation as to whether they did kind of know what they were doing at the end, but only two people know for sure. But the song definitely like romanticizes it a little bit.
Sure.
Kwame, I don't know if you remember this song.
No, I don't. I mean, when Audrey showed it to us, it was definitely the first time I've heard this song. But I think something that we are seeing recurring happen is that the depressing songs that shouldn't be, number one hits, just somehow become number one hits, regardless of the dark background behind it. Because with each one of our songs, they all turn out to be either top 10 or number one hits. So it's actually kind of creepy to really think about it.
Goes to show you it doesn't even matter what you say. Honestly, it is all about the musicality and the fact that they had amazing beats. They were catchy. They knew what they were doing for sure.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Well, you can check out all the songs we just talked about and more creepy, real life inspired bops and everything else you need to create the perfect Halloween soundtrack by saying Halloween music into your voice remote. Next up, we try and bring a little levity to the show, we loosen up a little bit by talking about Barney. This is TV Confessions. In just 2 days, on October 12th, Peacock debuts a brand new 2-part docuseries exploring a little bit of both, exploring the 90s cultural phenomenon known as Barney and Friends and the public backlash that soon followed the Purple TV Dinosaurs' massive success. It's called I Love You, You Hate Me. Let's take a look at the trailer.
It just exploded nationwide.
It was a cultural phenomenon.
What color is happier than purple? No color.
This is Barney, and this is what he sounded like.
Barney stands for inclusion, acceptance.
You should love everyone. We all have Cheryl Leach to thank for that.
As her beloved character was heading into the stratosphere, people couldn't accept that this was just a show, and so let the bashing begin.
Some of the rumors that I heard, Barney hides drugs in his tail.
They were violent and explicit.
Death and dismemberment of my family.
I love you, Barney.
They were going to come and find me, and they were going to kill me.
Just the dark side of this whole moment. That must have devastated Cheryl.
There was something larger going on here.
I don't think you could ever think somebody would go and shoot someone.
Yes, that was the uplifting that we needed right there. Liz and I are a little too old to have been in Barney's demo, but Kwam, did you watch Barney as a kid?
Oh, for sure. Barney was a staple when I was in my adolescence. When I was probably what? I guess the earliest I can remember watching Barney was probably 4 or 5, maybe even younger than that. But yeah, no, it's funny because as I got older, Barney was something to riff on because it's when you're kids, when you're a younger kid, you're just oh, everything is corny now and this is so cheesy. But it was we were completely oblivious to the hate that it was getting, actual hate that it was getting from the older demographic. I mean, we all just thought it was just funny to make jokes about Barney and change the song a little bit to be more drug inspired. But I didn't think anyone actually hated Barney. How could you hate Barney? He literally says, "Come give me a hug," and he says, "I love you and you love me." I mean, as a grown adult, it does sound a little bit creepy telling that to kids, but the message he's trying to preach, I can see how it's just positive. It's saying let's love your neighbor, which we all should do. So I don't know why people hate Barney.
Well, it's interesting to look back at some of the TV shows or movies that we loved as kids and now as adults think about, as you said, the impact that they had on our lives and also the world around us, pop culture, what we talked about in school, what we talked about with our parents, what we loved, the kind of things that raised us. For example, I was a massive fan growing up of the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. They were my absolute favorite thing. I was even part of the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers fan club. And when I was in, you got a box.
Yes.
Nerd card. I know.
Of course you did.
When I was in 4th grade, it's kind of where they really debuted and got really hot. And every single day, my friends and I would pretend to be Power Rangers during recess. Everyone wanted to be the Green or White Ranger. No one ever wanted to be stuck being Billy, the Blue Ranger. And then I would come home and I'd watch the new episode of Power Rangers on Fox. And I remember going to school and talking to people about the Green Ranger and when Tommy and Kimberly ended up in a romance, and when Lord Zed showed up and he got married to Rita Repulsa. It was things we talked about in school. And my obsession with Power Rangers got to the point where I wanted to actually learn to fight just like them. So my parents took me to an open house at a local karate school. And I'll never forget that after we watched a class, the owner of the school was talking to my parents and I, and he said, totally unprompted, quote, "I'm not here to teach kids how to be Power Rangers." And I was like,
wow.
And I never went back. I never took classes. Even in my little kid mind, I was like, screw this guy. That's why I'm here. But I don't even think I realized that it influenced me to want that.
I love that.
But the influence the show had in the 90s, I found a 1995 newspaper article doing some research from the Baltimore Sun about the increased interest in martial arts. And the founder of a karate school named Joe Palazzo was quoted as saying that kids were flocking to martial arts classes, quote, because they wanted to be Power Rangers or something like that. That's what gets them going, gets them interested. The kids don't even have a TV in their home, but they all know who the Power Rangers are, who the Ninja Turtles are. And yeah, he was right. Because the original live-action Ninja Turtle movie premiered in 1990. The Power Rangers debuted in 1993. And then within years, we had tons of new martial arts-based films, a lot of which were aimed at kids. You had The Next Karate Kid, starring Hilary Swank, Three Ninjas, Surf Ninjas, Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, and I'd say the Power Rangers were a cultural phenomenon on par with Barney to some extent, but wasn't quite as loathsome ultimately. And despite some like problematic issues around costume colors and which actors they were assigned to, I'd say OG Power Rangers still hold up. It's like great, campy fun. It's got a diverse cast. It dealt with issues of friendship and teamwork and discipline, good and evil, like all really like positive stuff for a kid, teenager. And it's still a lot of fun to watch as an adult, and you can binge all 145 episodes on Netflix. It was only 3 seasons of 145 episodes.
Wow.
And if you're looking for like somewhere to start, I also built a collection of the 25 greatest Power Ranger episodes, the best episodes sorted by Ranger, and the 16 best villains, which you can find if you say best of the Power Rangers into your voice remote. That is best of the Power Rangers. And you'll find my own like personal nerd moment. I just went rogue and I just built this beautiful little collection tribute to the Power Rangers. It's out there. So that's my long-winded rant.
Wow. The beautiful collection of the Power Rangers.
Thank you.
I love
Liz, did this Barney docuseries have you reflecting on any of the shows you loved as a kid?
Yeah, but you know what? I think I went in a little bit of an opposite direction. I think I went from something that I don't think that I appreciated enough as a kid, and then really love now and almost wish, I think that we're missing it again. And, you know, my pick was The Reading Rainbow. And here's a show that I'm really dating myself here, guys, right? I'm picking a song from 1983. Now here's a show that came out in 83. Like, it must have been a really pivotal year for Liz at the very ripe age of 6 years old, right? Like, I guess that's everything I remember in life. But, you know, this was a show, LeVar Burton, who hosted this show for over 20 years. I think about like 26 years it was on the air. And I remember as a kid watching this PBS, right? Because we had one of these TVs. And so it was like 3, 6, 10 Fox, and then you had to go all the way around. So on Channel 12 for us on PBS, we watched The Reading Rainbow. And I think what is so pivotal about this show is that what it was created for was to really help with that summer gap, right? Like they really, when it's proven that when kids are out of school for those 3 months, they really do like lose some reading skills. And so this was created for that, for the kids to watch over summer, sort of like a summer camp, if you will, but like at home, talking all about reading and trying to get kids to be interested and upskill their reading. It even got to the point where we watched this at school. So fun fact, it was like the #1 most viewed television show within classrooms. And so we watched it in school. And maybe that's why I felt I didn't appreciate it as much, because it felt very educational. It felt like we had to watch this. And as I got older, as much as I didn't like it when I was younger, I can appreciate, from where this show was created, the reason behind it, and knowing that that this and programming like this would could continue to help our children, and especially, during all of our quarantining time, we could have been watching Reading Rainbow, and I didn't even think of that. But yeah, 26 years on the air, not bad.
I don't think picking this show dates you, but I think calling it The Reading Rainbow is dating you there, Grandma. You watching The Reading Rainbow?
Oh, you're right. It's because of the song. And I'm not going to sing it because I'm not the singer of this show. That is you, David. And I know you know the song. Everybody knows the song. And at the end, it's The Reading Rainbow.
I don't know if they even say that. I don't even know if they say that in the song. Do they?
I'm pretty sure they do. I'm pretty sure they do.
I always loved this show. First of all, it's a beautiful photo of LeVar Burton just looking so handsome above The Reading Rainbow. And I always loved that it showed like kids giving book recommendations. Like as a kid, it always made you feel like, okay, this kid likes this book. Like I'm a kid, I can like this book too. And it was really smart. LeVar Burton always used to say, but you don't have to take my word for it. And then threw it to the kids telling you about the books. And Kwame, I don't know if they did this still when you were in school, but they had like the Scholastic book order things that you could. Yeah, that was like
the book fairs. Oh my gosh.
There is a meme out there right now on social media that says my toxic trait of buying things that I didn't need started with the Scholastic.
It definitely did.
Because we came home and was like, Mom, somebody, I need some money.
You circled what you wanted.
Yep.
Yeah.
I love
And it was like kind of a perfect, they had like kind of a perfect like business plan going there between Reading Rainbow and Scholastic. They told us about the books on Reading Rainbow, and then we were like seeing them on this little paper and circling them. And I don't know if LeVar got any kickbacks from Scholastic, but he should have. He should have gotten some money for that.
Yes, because I know I came home and I was like, I'm gonna need $35.27. Right?
Yes, exactly.
Fair. My mom would look at me like I was crazy.
You're dropping some loose change into an envelope with your order paper.
For sure.
Oh man, this is flashbacks.
What about you, Kwame?
Yeah, tell us, Kwame. What are you thinking about?
Okay, well, similar to Liz, going into an opposite direction of you, David, where it's a show that I didn't like as a kid because I was so in love with The Fresh Prince. I felt like there could be no other show that competes with The Fresh Prince. And, kids at school be like, you don't watch Martin? And I'm like, no, I watch The Fresh Prince only because Will Smith is the best. But as I got older, I realized that I was being very stupid because Martin is a great show. Classic. Oh, my God. Classic. Martin is a classic show. And I feel so dumb for ever trying to deny its greatness in its heyday. And I could have been right along with the kids, making the references. And nope, now I had to be like living out my whole adolescent life not watching Martin. And then now I'm like going back to Martin and rewatching Martin. I'm like, oh, this is pretty good. I'm pretty done. But yes, Martin is such a great show. And I wish I did watch it as a kid. It's a 90s staple. It's a 90s staple.
You're making me want to go back and rewatch them, but I was definitely watching, and this was like the era when you were like, oh, it's coming on at what time? Like you were sitting in front of the TV waiting for the show to come on. Classic. And thank you for bringing up Martin because I think I'm going to need to do some Martin watching this weekend. It was classic. Gina, they're just all the relationships. And he's so funny.
Oh my gosh, so funny. I love the toxic relationship between him and Gina, and then also her friend. I'm blanking on her friend's name.
Pam.
What's her friend's name?
It's Pam.
Pam. Oh my gosh. Because it's funny because we all have a friend. Like if you've been in a relationship and like it's that one friend you don't like, but you like kind of like I gotta like you, but we really don't like each other. Yes. Oh gosh, we all have a Pam in our life, and you need a Pam in your life, to be honest. And maybe a Gina too.
You say so.
I miss like 90s TV key art where they all went to like Sears to get a portrait and they just stuck a box in the middle and they all posed around it. Like that's what like Saved by the Bell was. Like they had like a forest backdrop, like you were getting your school photos or like a Christmas card. Yeah, they just all posed back to back there. That's what I miss.
Martin is the real G in the middle, right? Like all.
Oh yeah, everyone else is in
out.
black, but he's in the white sweater. You know, he's got to stand out because he's Martin.
I love it. Love it.
Well, you can check out all the shows we just talked about and so much more by saying what to watch into your voice remote. And before we head out for the week, as always, we'll help you organize your TV watch list in a segment called Plan Ahead. In this week's premieres, we've got shows about college students, best friends, twin sisters, plus the end of an iconic film franchise. Liz, tell us more about it.
We're bringing you all the drama this week, beginning with the CW's All-American Homecoming Season 2 premiere on October 10th. Just as we would expect from any college drama, let's add on the stress of playing a sport while navigating relationships and all the drama they bring, and topping it all off with the expectations of doing it all while attending an HBCU. Season 2 starts after their holiday break, and we can expect the drama to be dialed up to a 10 this season. On October 12th, BET will premiere Season 5 of Tyler Perry's Sisters. Season after season, we all think, wow, that one is life-changing. And guess what? This one is no different. With looming legal issues and infidelity and potential miscarriage, this friend group will once again face off some pretty ugly drama. The drama continues on October 14th with an Amazon Freevee original called High School. Based on a true story of twin sisters, Tegan and Sarah, a Canadian pop duo, High School is set in the 90s with a soundtrack I just can't get enough of. The show follows the girls' real life as they manage high school, finally finding themselves while trying to navigate family, friends, and romance. And what we're hoping will finally end the drama for Laurie Strode is Halloween Ends on Peacock on October 14th. We all know the story, and we cannot wait to watch this, dare I say, final face-off between Laurie Strode and Michael Myers as she tries to end this 45-year-old nightmare.
And in this week's finales, we say farewell to Kevin, Archer, Galadriel, and Jennifer Walters, and Quam is going to give us all the details. Quam?
Kevin Can Bleep Himself will be coming to an end on October 10th. While you would think this dark comedy series would center around Kevin, it actually explores the life of his wife, Allison. Allison is a woman struggling to redefine her life amid her unhappy marriage to Kevin. Kevin is an unambitious man-child whose behavior causes Allison to loathe him. Kevin Can Bleep Himself will finale on October 10th on AMC. I've never realized how long this show has been on the air, but boy, Archer is having an amazing run. Season 13 of the adult animated sitcom will be coming to a close on October 12th. Archer follows the exploits of a dysfunctional intelligence agency and is centered around Archer, Sterling Archer. If you can't tell, the show is essentially parodying the James Bond franchise. This award-winning sitcom will have its season 13 finale on October 12th on FXX. So imagine you're a judge, right? And during one of your cases, a 6'7" green human walks into the court. At that point, she's the judge and the jury. Of course, I'm talking about She-Hulk, Attorney at Law. This Disney Plus series follows Jennifer Walters, aka She-Hulk, who attains the same powers as her cousin, Bruce Banner, after getting cross-contaminated with his blood. Jennifer is a lawyer who specializes in cases involving superhumans, which I think is pretty fitting. She-Hulk, Attorney at Law will finale on October 13th on Disney Plus. The Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power, is the latest installment in the Lord of the Rings adaptations. Set thousands of years before the events of The Hobbit and the original Lord of the Rings trilogy, this series covers the history of Middle-earth. This includes the forging of the Rings of Power, the rise of the Dark Lord, and the last alliance between elves and men. And I must say that this show looks absolutely beautiful. Amazon must be printing money because I'm convinced this show has an unlimited budget. The Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power will finale on October 14th on Prime Video. Lastly, The sci-fi drama series, See, is coming to a close. Set in a distant post-apocalyptic future, the ability of sight has been lost after a virus that nearly wiped out humanity left its survivors blind. The concept of vision has now become a myth as a human society attempts to rebuild itself. However, everything changes when a tribe believes that 2 of its children have the power to see. The series finale of See will come to Apple TV on October 14th. Hey yo, that rhymed.
I'd also like to mention quickly that October is Filipino American History Month. Next week, we'll be joined by our favorite Filipino American, our Xfinity Kids and Family editor, Rose, for a deep dive into a special collection of Filipino TV and movies. In the meantime, if you'd like to check it out for yourself, just say Asian American into your voice remote. And that will do it for today's show. Thank you to my fellow Xfinity editors, Liz and Kwam, for joining me this week. Thank you to our producers, Brad, Aaron, and everyone else behind the scenes for dealing with all the crazy stuff that it takes to make this show work. We finally did it. We got it. We're done.
We made it.
If you want to check out the TV shows and movies we talked about today, get more of our entertainment recommendations, or watch us interview big celebrities, just say what to watch in your voice remote or tune in here every Monday at 4 p.m. Eastern for a new episode. You can also check us out across the country 24/7 on the Xfinity What to Watch channel on Zumo. My name is David. Thank you for joining us on What to Watch Live.
Lo hicimos!
Bye.